Hey, everybody, want to talk about gold, silver, got some important updates. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait just 60 seconds to get some people on right now. We're going to go live with this. New news about silver prices, silver charts, gold charts, all that kind of stuff. So just wait for 60 seconds. If you're not seeing this live, just click 60 seconds. Here we go. Hey, everybody, Economic Ninja here. Hope you're doing well. We're going to be talking about gold and silver. Is there an echo in this room? This is sort of the construction of part of the new studio. Just put some brick up and all that stuff. Who cares about that? Okay, we're going to talk about gold and silver. Type gold, type silver, which one you own. Gold is scaling right now, a fresh record high as markets brace for further rate cuts. We're going to talk about how those rate cuts are going to affect gold and silver prices as well. Also, I'm going to put a link down below. People are asking me all the time, how do I buy my gold and silver? I no longer hold it where I live because of other risks. So I buy it and vault it. This company is awesome. I've used it for 4 years. And they also have a credit card set up. It's not an affiliate link or anything like that to that, but my friends that invest in gold and silver, they actually get their rewards paid in gold and silver. It's pretty cool, and they get it delivered to their house. All right, here we go. Gold surged to a fresh record high on Monday, buoyed by investors, highlighted expectations of a dovish rate cut path ahead of remarks of multiple Federal Reserve officials and key inflation data later in the week. Spot gold just rose 1.1% to $3,723 an ounce after hitting a new record high of $3,726 earlier in the session, right? Gold futures are also up. They say here, this comes from Giovanni Stratino from UBS, says, I would expect gold to reach a new record high this week, with Fed officials likely to indicate further rate cuts, but also being data dependent on the pace and the magnitude of cuts. Look, there's something really important to understand. The US dollar is falling in value. Type 1 if you actually watch the chart and seen the DXY actually going down over the last year. That is what's bringing the gold price up, okay? Rate cuts don't necessarily mean gold and silver are going to skyrocket. People say they do, but in a meaningful drop in rate cuts, that is when gold and silver really shine. And the reason for that is because the economy is collapsing. There's no reason to lower rates unless things are very, very bad. Why? Because banks the Federal Reserve likes charging interest, right? They make more money when there's more interest, but they also make a ton of money as they drop rates and they're buying up collapsing companies, real estate, things like that, okay? And I'm not talking about banks directly buying that stuff. I'm talking about the employees, the guys that run the banks. All right. So you got to sort of think about that. Most people don't. They go, why would the Federal Reserve want to collapse everything? It's because they are personally picking up assets for pennies on the dollar. Okay. That's something that most people don't know. Now, the silver story is important. I'm going to go to that real quick. And that's coming out of Zero Hedge. As there are specific charts that they are watching right now on silver. Let me find it. And this comes out of, I pay for the extra, account that nobody wants to pay for Zero Hedge to get stories that you can't just get for free, okay? So 3 silver charts that we are watching. It said beyond bullish. Silver momentum is so strong and we are breaking above the upper part of the trend channel. RSI is at very overbought levels, but we have stayed in very overbought land for weeks. Why is that? Because as the US dollar is falling in value and inflation is still stubbornly high, okay? Inflation has not fallen. If you pay attention to the meat markets, I don't know about you, but I'm watching the price of meat just keep soaring and soaring. Now, a lot of that comes from the fact that we have stopped really bringing cattle up from Mexico, okay? So we have less supply of beef, thus running the prices up because of the tariff issue, right? So what happens there is as we see this, the dollar falling, trade issues happening, it's not just people in America buying up gold and silver running the prices up, it's people around the world, okay? When you know you've hit peak craziness in silver buying, it's when silver dimes and silver quarters or junk silver, that is one of my I get so excited about buying junk silver. because there's only so much of it, right? It's becoming rarer and rarer. Okay. And on a dollar cost average or basis, like when I want to make a lot of money, I would go buy a silver dime for, let's say today, it's probably what, $3.40. Do me a favor, type the silver value in a silver dime right now. You can go on to Coinflation and then type it in the comments, and I'm going to check the comments. It's so easy to double your money in silver. When you got a silver dime, you go to your buddy and go, hey, I got a silver dime. It's 90% silver. They're pretty rare. You want to buy it for, $6? How many people have $6, right? So let me see right now. Is it $5? There's no way it's $5 right now. Is it? Do me that favor. People are typing, there's $5 in a mercury dime. Holy cow. And especially if you buy mercury dimes, they look so different. They're so easily to go, hey, look, this is not a normal dime. Even though to all of us gold and silver bugs, we know just from looking at a silver dime, it's silver because you turn it on its edge. It has no copper band, right? But to the layman or person that's not, well versed in this, they go, holy cow, that's awesome. That's rare. And that's why I always suggest buying as many copper dimes and quarters as possible, especially the ones that look different, because there's only so many of them out there. And think about it, 20 years now, that's the kind of silver I wouldn't want to sell anytime soon because there's so few of them out there. So that you've got the collector value and the metals value. All right. It says right here, buy silver when it reaches its 21-day moving average. And they're watching these charts because, the move from 35 to $45 silver happened really fast in 2000 and was it 10 or 11? That move just happened again where you saw it past 35. It's at what, $42. I still think silver is going to have a pullback. And the reason why this is important, because when I said in the beginning of this video, hey, lowered rates don't mean that silver and gold are going to skyrocket at first. This is what happens. Rates go down when things are bad, okay? If the stock market turns because bad job numbers are starting to get printed over and over and over, then the stock market gets spooked and they start to sell off, because if jobs aren't being created, it means companies aren't doing well. That means earnings are going to start turning down, the next quarter, the quarter after that, and all that stuff. And then as the stock market starts to sell off, one of the first things that happens is gold and silver sell off, because companies that are highly leveraged, hedge funds, things like that, they run for the liquidity, and usually their best form of liquidity, like right now, is if they have 10% in precious metals, okay, which any good fund should have at least 10% allocation to precious metals in case of a downturn, right? Well, then that sell-off sparks even a greater sell-off in the price of gold and silver, and then it takes a while for it to start tanking off. Okay, this exact phenomenon happened in 2008 from, I want to say it was April of 2008 till about October of 2008, after Lehman Brothers had already collapsed. And that's when gold and silver found their bottom, approximately 5 months before the stock market found its bottom. Okay, and then gold and silver started just a multi-year terror in the price. So that's why it's really concerning to me when people go big on the precious metals. That's why you never want to go all in on anything, right? You want to have those 5 baskets of investments. Let's say stock investments, crypto investments, precious metals investments, real estate investments, and then cash. Those are your 5 baskets, 5 primary baskets. And then inside each of those baskets, you're diversifying. In precious metals basket, you wouldn't have all gold. You wouldn't have all silver, right? You'd mix those up. Maybe think of, Han's going to freak out when I say this. Neil's going to freak out. Everyone say hi to Neil. He wants what? Platinum or palladium, Neil? Let me know what it is. And then crystal osmium. That's a whole nother story. But then inside stocks, you're not having just one stock. You're having diversification, right? Anyone saying it? All right, so check this out. When this turn comes, and I still am calling for $150,000 Bitcoin at the same time silver's $35. And people don't like hearing that because that means you'd have a heck of a pullback. Now, that's not financial advice, right? I'm not a financial advisor, but I put that on X a while ago. And it was funny because people were laughing. They go, I called that when silver was, let's say, $28. I said $35 silver, $150,000 Bitcoin, and then convert the $150,000 Bitcoin into silver at $35. And people would every once in a while ping me on that, comment on that post and say, look, you're wrong. Silver is at $42 or $43. And what blows me away is the way most people think. They think silver can never go down after where it is now. They don't remember what happened during the stock crash of the COVID stock crash of 2020. They don't remember what happened during the Lehman Brothers crisis and the whole leading up to that stock crash when the Dow lost almost 50% of its value. They don't remember what happened to gold and silver prices when the Dow lost about 50% of its value in the year 1999 to 2001. Okay. So that's why I'm still calling for this. And I think it's still going to happen. I think we're going to see Bitcoin rise. I think silver can pop a little bit more, get rejected on its all-time high, the third time, right? And come back down. So that's why you have to be very, not only diversified, but even keel thinking. Like right now, we got a dip in crypto. I'm freaking out because it's a total opposite reason of everyone else. I'm trying to find more capital to go buy these companies, the tokens from these companies, whereas other people are losing their minds and selling at a loss, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But there's the reason why most people are middle class or poor, and very few people are rich or wealthy, which those are two different things. To be honest with you, if you started buying silver and gold right now, just in little quantities, you're already adopting a wealthy mindset. Type 10 if you agree with that. And once you start to adopt a wealthy mindset, your actions change completely forever. And another thing too, there's only, the people that say, I will never sell my gold, I will never sell my silver. That's also the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because you want to take that wealth during a crash and you want to deploy it into the assets that will go back up, especially real estate. This is so important that people understand this. If you want to use the company I use, the link's down below, to buy precious metals. You could buy precious metals physically, have it shipped to your house, or you could have them stored, and the prices are pretty solid. I use it. Right now with that company, my allocation, I want to say it's 80% silver to 20% gold, which is pretty much what my whole investing in precious metals has been like. It's always been like an 80-20 split because I love silver. Silver's more volatile. Silver's more useful. And honestly, silver is what bought Jesus Christ's life when he was sold to be crucified. So to me, silver is so precious, so valuable, so amazing on so many different levels. That's how I do it. If you agree with that, type yes or no. If that makes sense, type yes or no. I'd like to hear your comments on it too. All right, links down below for One Gold if you want that. And hopefully you have a great day. The Economic Ninja is out. I got to do more remodeling.